U.S. President Donald Trump is considering extending the March 1 deadline to impose higher tariffs on China as the world's two leading economies continue trade negotiations next week in Washington. State Department correspondent Nike Ching reports from the State Department.
Chinese President Xi Jinping met with top U.S. trade officials on Friday following high-level negotiations aimed at striking a trade deal ahead of a March 1st deadline. Next week in Washington, negotiators will try to find agreement on Chinese policies that Washington says are anti-competitive, such as forced technology transfers. At the White House Rose Garden, U.S. President Donald Trump sounded positive.
It's going extremely well. Who knows what that means, because it only matters if we get it done, but we're very much working very closely with China and President Xi, who I respect a lot. Very good relationship that we have. And we're a lot closer than we ever were in this country with having a real trade deal.
But much work needs to be done. The U.S. demands a comprehensive change to Chinese practices that Washington considers unfair, including theft of intellectual property and numerous barriers to market access. China has offered to buy more U.S. goods, but is resisting calls for major changes to its industrial policies, such as slashing government subsidies. American lawmakers are voicing frustration.
But right now it is very difficult. I mean, if you look at, just look at the trade situation that we are in right now. I remember visiting with a number of U.S. businesses in China in 2015, and these businesses were saying, well, give President Xi a chance, give these reforms a chance. We think things are going to work themselves out. There's a reform opportunity here. A year later, these same businesses were in my office saying, things have not changed, they're getting worse, the United States needs to act.
Washington worries China is stealing U.S. technology, some of which ends up with the Chinese military.
There's a sense that, China was a partner to engage with. It was a country whose rise we wanted to shape. But when you got into conversations about what China was doing militarily, the way it was making defense and technology investments that could be challenging to the United States, there was a lot of that was actually actively downplayed.
President Trump says he will meet with Xi after the talks next week. He may also extend the tariff deadline for 60 more days. But some critics are warning this may hurt America's credibility, leaving China to use the repeated tactic of buying more time amid trade disputes.